Welcome to the Successful Life Podcast. I am your host, Corey Barrier, and today, folks, we're going to be talking about delegating responsibilities. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons of delegating responsibilities. I'm going to share a story with you about how it was honestly was one of the biggest downfalls I had in one of my previous businesses. Before we get started, do me a favor. Go ahead and if you like this show, share it. If you hear something you like, make sure that you like the show, share it. Make sure that you tell somebody about it. Obviously, we don't run ads. But listen, you're the person that we're trying to reach, so if you know somebody like you, share the show with them. Also, before I forget, go to successfullifepodcast.com. Y'all are going to laugh at me. I started this site way back when I started the podcast in 2019. And so I forgot the site was up, and I just really did not pay very much attention to it. As crazy as that sounds and as ridiculous as that sounds, that's what happened. So I went and I went the other day because I got a notification about it. And I went and looked, I'm like, holy crap, the whole Successful Life Podcast library is on successfullifepodcast.com. It's really ridiculous. I didn't know that. But you know what? I started this podcast at a really, really, really challenging time in my life. And I'm just going to tell you that it was one of the times, dude, I didn't know what way was up, what way was down, dude. I was just doing the thing, man. I was just putting one foot in front of the other. And I'll be honest, I didn't have a clue how to start a podcast. Now, y'all have heard me tell that story a million times. So I'm not going to go through that again with you. But the lesson out of that is do stuff that you really want to do, stuff that's hard, right? Do stuff that you find challenging. Do stuff that scares you. Because I'll tell you, it will make you a stronger person. And, fear is one of those things that will just hold you back. And you all know this about me. I have ADHD, and I do pretty good with my ADHD. Now, y'all will find out sometime through this conversation, I may forget what I'm saying. But either way, I don't want to divert too far off from what I'm saying. So, sometimes we just forget things, right? We just forget about, stuff like, my whole podcast website. I don't know. I wish I could give you a better explanation, but I'm guessing at the time that I set this thing up, it was just automatic, I guess. I don't really know. And I know that sounds crazy. But look, this is the game that we play when you're in business for yourself. And this is part of the reason that I'm doing this show today on delegation and the pros and cons of what it's like to delegate responsibilities, what it's like to not delegate responsibilities, because I've been in both shoes. And so, when I had my med spa back in the day, I didn't delegate, I had a hard time delegating responsibilities. And I think, just about every contractor I deal with, they go through the same thing. They build this company, right? Or they start out as a journeyman plumber or a HVAC person, guy, or whatever trade you're in. It doesn't really matter what trade you're in. There's a ramp up process either way. And so if you're in that ramp up process, then you're not really thinking about how to build a business, right? You're thinking about how to get your next level, or you're thinking about, you might be thinking about how to get your next job, most likely. And so you're not really expected to know how to run a business, right? And so delegation becomes really hard when it gets time to have other people do the things that you're used to doing. And for me, it was one of the most challenging things, because I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to ask this person to do this thing because I'm the owner. I should just do it and be done with it. I should just be happy they work for me, right? I should just be happy that I have people that are grateful to be here. But I got burnt out, and ultimately, I'm going to tell you right now, and if you're in a trade right now and you experience what I'm talking about, then just keep listening, because I'm going to open your eyes on a few things. So one of the things that I find in everybody just about that I work with, every tradesperson I've ever worked in, every construction company I've ever worked in or ever consulted with, there's always a delegation problem. Either they delegate way too much and take their foot off the gas and then things go sideways, or they don't delegate anything and they never grow. Now, I don't know where you sit in that situation. I don't know where your company sits, right? But if you're the owner right now, you're listening to this, you probably are, ask yourself, do I delegate enough things to my people? You know, I have a team. Do I use them? Because I'm guilty for not using all my team. I mean, sometimes I'll even know that my people are, you know, that they can answer these questions, and I just don't bother them because I don't want to bother them. I don't want to ask them the question. I don't, you know, and it's so silly, right? If they're on my team, they want me to win, right? If your team members, if your technicians on your team are not, if they don't want you to win, you got the wrong technicians. If you've built a culture around your team not wanting you to win, well, now you got a leadership problem. And so a lot of that could be that you've taken on so much, you don't know how to manage the team. Or you've delegated so much out, you can't control the team. And lots of times it's one or the other. Very few times is there an even balance there. And I'm not saying that you're always going to have like this balance in life or anything like that, because it's not possible. I don't know if it's possible. But the other part of that delegation piece is the accountability that comes along with that. And if you are accountable to someone, then you're more likely to, you're more than likely to follow through. But if you have no accountability, it's like having several people that have the same job. If there's no accountability, no one's accountable, right? If there's no accountability, there's no one accountable. And so you can't delegate tasks to people that are not accountable to follow through with them. And that's kind of where I was stuck, because I had replayed these old things in my head about how people didn't do what they said they were going to do, or whatever the case may be. And I don't know, dude, like that's just, most people do what they say they're going to do. I believe, I don't know. I have a lot of people that don't. But I got to cut those people out of my life, right? I can't keep you in my life if you don't do what you say you're going to do. And sometimes I'm that guy. Now, not with my clients, but like sometimes I'm that way with my friends. Not that I really don't do it on purpose, but lots of times you'll find, I've found that out of sight, out of mind, and that's nothing personal, right? To you, to my mom, my dad, anybody, my brother, like if you're not right in front of me, I'm not really thinking about you. And I don't mean that in a really negative way. I just mean that like my brain thinks about what's in front of me. And it's not something that I can control or whatnot. Like, and I don't expect you to understand it, because most likely you can't understand it if you're not attention deficit disorder. But maybe you are. Look, most business owners are. Like 70% of you guys are ADHD. And, look, if you realize that and can facilitate that superpower, dude, you'll be a rock star. And you'll be a killer business owner. And so, but you know what? You got to be able to delegate, and you got to be able to keep people accountable. Listen, if you tell your team they need to do the thing, and you don't keep them accountable, you look like the schmuck, right? You look like the guy that doesn't follow through. You look like a crappy leader, essentially. So I wanted to just do this short segment, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. Do me a favor. Listen, go to tradeschools.com. Check it out. That's where that's my trades group. You'll be able to read about it in there. It's pretty simple. Like, we just level up in every area of our life. It's pretty daggone simple. Go to successfullifepodcast.com and check it out. There's really not a whole lot there other than all the episodes. Because I forgot about the website. So anyway, look guys, I work with small to medium sized plumbing companies. When I say small to medium sized, $1 million plumbing companies and up. And I double their sales in 6 months or less. And so if that's you, if that's something that sounds like you or sounds like something you'd be interested in, you should reach out to me. And you can find me on any of the social channels at Corey Barrier. And you can find all the links in the show notes. If you're watching this, go check out the podcast. If you're hearing this, go watch out. Go check out the YouTube. All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side.